One of the biggest challenges for women who are trying to get more visible is that they get in their own head about it. And the more they think about it, the harder it gets. One of the top things that you need to do if you want to get out of your own way is learn how to relax. Easier said than done, right? Well, joining me on the show today, we are going to talk to an expert in relaxation, and she's going to give us some tips on how to do just that. Welcome to Show Up and Be Seen. I'm Valerie McTavish, sharing insights and inspirations to help you get more visible so you can increase your impact and grow your business. Joining me on the show, so excited to welcome Denise Eckert. She is the host of the Relaxation Lounge, and she's here today to help us relax and get more comfortable and confident on camera. Denise, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This is great.
So, Denise, you have had this experience yourself as an entrepreneur, having to put yourself out there. So before we dive into those relaxation tips and the confidence tips, tell me a little bit about what it was like for you when you realized if you wanted to grow your business, you were going to have to put yourself out there.
Well, the thing is, you're basically, depends on what kind of work you're doing, you're branding yourself. So people need to get to know you. And whether you're nervous or not, people look at you as a real human being. You know, you're not some, I don't know, some cartoon character that can be edited. You know, people want to relate to how we're feeling, and we need to get it out there.
So what was it like for you? How did you do that? How did you choose to put yourself out there and get visible?
Well, I went through a lot of different ways of becoming visible. And I really just didn't like videos. Like, it just made me so nervous. And there'd be
Wait a
times
minute.
where I'm really nervous. And I would sit there and, I say the same thing. And there are times where I couldn't even pronounce my own name. I was so nervous. And what I've learned to do is just walk away, take that breath, go outside, smell some fresh air, do a breathing technique. And there's a lot of different techniques that you can do just to settle the nerves down.
Yeah, and I want to point out the fact that your journey to visibility took kind of a different route because you do videos now, but you went podcast first. Was that an easier step for you? Was that kind of like a smaller stepping stone?
It was, but then I realized that I really needed to do a blog post and I really needed to be on social media. So what I did was I ended up repurposing. So every interview I did on my podcast, I did as a video as well. But the thing is, on my podcast, I can edit out a lot of the ums and the a's and all the filler words that we tend to use, especially when we get nervous. But as I went along, I really fell in love with podcasting because I didn't find the pressure of being on video as you know, I felt a lot more relaxed and I really started to enjoy it.
And then once you got past that and you realized that it's really about sharing the information and connecting with the person that you're interviewing, was that sort of what tripped it over for you so that you could start doing videos?
It did. And what I really fell in love with was the interviewing people. Because just like here, we're doing a conversation. I'm just not sitting there talking to no one. And there's times when I used to do videos where I would have a picture of someone behind the camera and I would pretend I was talking to someone because it was more a conversation rather than here's the information, which it really changed how I did things.
Yeah, I love that. And that's a great tip. I always say try to picture your best friend deep in the lens. You're looking straight into the lens and picturing your best friend or your ideal customer. And that does tend to help kind of take the edge off and it feels a little bit more personal than staring at a camera for sure. So now that you've been doing the podcast for a while, you're doing videos, you're getting yourself out there. Have you seen the benefits of it in your business?
You know what? I think I've got it's 2 years. It'll be, well, a year and a half now with the podcast. And what I love is that people are coming to me now. So I have gotten past that hurdle of visibility. And I have a couple of emails a day, people asking about what I'm doing or whether they can collaborate with me, or whether I can help them with something, which is amazing. Like, it really switched things around for me.
I think this is such an important point, and of course, I'm partial to video, but the reality is, podcasting is also a form of visibility. It's a way of sharing your message and letting people know that you're there to help them solve a problem. So, I think this is an important point to make, which is when we think about visibility, it doesn't have to be about doing the Instagram photo shoots or the live videos. You can find what's comfortable for you, and it's still going to help you attract people that are your ideal customer. They're going to learn a little bit more. You're going to build up that know, like, and trust. So I think that's really important. So thank you for sharing that with us, because I think we tend to think about visibility literally, right? Can people see me? But it doesn't have to be that way. So thank you for sharing that. Now, I want to get to some of these tips that you have, because inside the relaxation lounge, I understand that there are all kinds of different modalities, different practices that you use to help people relieve stress. So, you're going to share some affirmations with us, but before we get to that, can you tell us a little bit about the variety of things that people can do in terms of tapping into, you know, relaxation, being able to relax almost instantly and tap into that confidence? What are your favorite modalities right now?
Well, on my website or on my membership, my goal is to help busy women. So most of all the modalities or all the practices in there are short and sweet. They're all 5, 10, 15 minutes. So it's easy to use. And the ones I love are the easiest ones. Even if you're feeling stressed, I learned this from Gabby Bernstein, but I've switched it up a little bit, is choosing again. If you're feeling really stressed, all you do is I choose peace instead. I choose love instead. And just saying things like that switches how we feel. And a very, very powerful one is just look at yourself in the mirror. And when you look into your eyes, sometimes it'll make you even cry. And you just say, I am powerful. I am confident. Whatever you're struggling with, whether if you are going to do an interview, just tell yourself this interview is going to be amazing. This is going to turn out amazing. And really look at yourself in the eyes. And what is it? The eyes are the window to your soul. And it is so powerful. And how long does that take? And what they do recommend is say it between 3 and 5 times, the same saying over again. So it really settles into you. And it's so simple, it's easy. And then come back to what you were doing and do that interview or do that video. It just switches your body, because a lot of times when you get stressed out, when you're doing videos, it builds. And if you try harder, it gets worse. I mean, I know myself, there's times where, okay, now I start off, I can't even say my own name. So it's like, okay, I need to step away. And stepping away and giving yourself that chill, realignment, just sit there and relax and start it again. And as we talked about before he came on here, what's the worst case scenario if you screw up the video? No one's in the hospital. No one died. No one's really badly affected, but people will see you for who you are, which is the important thing.
Absolutely. And, what I often say when people have a script, I say throw the script away, because no one knows that you got it wrong. Don't worry about messing it up. Yeah, you can write out what you want to say, how you want to communicate it, but then forget about it once you get on camera, because you don't need to be perfect and no one will know that you got it wrong. So these are important things. And so let's talk about some of these affirmations. I love the ones that you've already shared. I am powerful. What specifically could people be doing if they're very new to practicing affirmations in the mirror? What are some specifically around confidence in video that they could use?
I would say, like, I am powerful. I'm knowledgeable. Where do you feel stuck, and where do you feel a lot of times where we don't feel that we're good enough? So that's why we're scared to do that visibility, because we feel like we're going to be judged. And that is it's scary, because we do feel like we're going to be judged. So pick what feels right for yourself. So if you feel like you're not worthy, or you don't have enough education, or you don't have the PhD or the diploma, say something that makes you feel good about yourself. I'm powerful. I am worthy. I can do this. Basically, I know my stuff. It can be as simple as that. I know my stuff. I'm powerful at talking about stress. I'm powerful talking about creating videos. I know what I'm doing. And it doesn't have to be even scripted. When you're looking at your eyes in the mirror, and it's such a powerful feeling. It will come naturally once you start to relax a little bit.
I love this. And I think, there's some of these universal I am statements that I think people can use. I am powerful. I am knowledgeable. I know my stuff. These are all really great. But I think you touched on something that I want to kind of go back to, which is sometimes we need to dig a little bit deeper in terms of what's actually stopping us, right? These universal ones are great, but maybe there's something that you personally have that's a limiting belief that's getting in your way that you need to counter with that affirmation. So, I get a lot of women who come and take my program, and they are coming in because they feel like, who's going to want to listen to me? I'm old, or I'm not pretty enough to be on video, or I need to lose 10 pounds before I do a video. And they have these ideas that come from like really, deep-seated limiting beliefs from their childhood or from societal pressures. And these things can be counteracted with those affirmations, right? These things you can look them in the eye and call them out as untruth, and call them out as not being what's going to get in your way. But sometimes that takes a little bit of reflection and inner work.
Absolutely. And you know what I like doing for myself, and what I, encourage other people to do, is just when you're feeling like that, just dump it down in a journal. And I'm not a big journal person, but if you just do a brain dump and just write free flow for, just say, put 10 minutes aside, and you will. And don't worry about spelling or paragraphs or any grammar. Just get it out on the paper, and you'll start seeing a pattern there. And those are the things you need to look at, because we all have our limiting beliefs. And the thing is, with limiting beliefs, there's triggers. So the minute we turn on that camera, it's like, whether it's, yeah, as you said, it could be weight. I'm not pretty enough. Well, look at my bangs, look at my face, look at my wrinkles. And it could be from appearances, or how you feel, or how you talk. Because I know in the past I've had issues with my voice. I've had surgery on my vocal cords. So people go, "What's wrong with your voice?" Well, I'm lucky to be talking. But, people, just let that judgment slide. Be who you are, because you're
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah, and create those affirmations as a counterbalance to those, as an antidote to those. And I think that, writing it down, as you said, can be also really surprising for people. We let a lot of stuff rattle around in our heads and we accept it, because these are our thoughts going on. We put it down on paper and you go, "Wow, do I really think that about myself? Is that really what's going on here? Is that really stopping me?" So I think that that can be really powerful too. So taking those, turning them around, turning them into affirmations. And, you said nobody's going to die if your video's bad. Here's the other thing. We have a tendency to try to be so perfect. And this is an affirmation I tell myself all the time. I don't need to be perfect. Nobody wants me to be perfect. And that's why earlier in this episode, when I stumbled twice, I just kept going, because it doesn't matter. As long as things are being communicated and you're sharing your message, that's what matters. I don't create these episodes for anyone other than the viewer who needs to get more visible for their business. So whether I stumble, or, we interrupt each other a few too many times, or whatever it is, it doesn't matter,
Absolutely.
because in the end, we're getting to our goal of helping people, right? Ah, wow.
Yeah, things
Any
have
last
really
tips for
changed
people
over
who
the
are—
years.
Sorry,
Sorry.
go ahead. I
Yeah,
interrupted you
things,
there.
things have really changed over the years, with, everybody being so visible, you know, And at the beginning, I think everybody wanted to be that perfect person and that perfect, the perfect video and the perfect this and the perfect that. But in reality, I mean, I'm not in a studio. I don't have a crew. I don't have a makeup artist. I remember at the beginning when I started, it's like, well, I'm the set director, I'm the director, I'm the writer, I'm the makeup artist, the fashion designer, and the person who is, you know, delivering the content. And we got to give ourselves a pat on the back for being all that, when in reality, to do a nice studio broadcast, you worked in broadcasting. How many people were on the set?
Oh, yeah, dozens. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good point. We have to give ourselves a little bit of a break. And, we also have to learn how to calm down, because when we can calm down, we can access that confidence and we can actually get ourselves in front of that mirror to do those affirmations and feel more powerful, more ready, and more willing to show up however we need to show up just to get our message out there. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge today and for talking about these affirmations. I hope it's really going to help a lot of people realize that sometimes it just takes a few positive thoughts to counter the negative thoughts so that you can get out of your own way. Thanks again, Denise. I appreciate you being here. And I will put the link to your relaxation lounge in the description. If anyone wants to check it out and check out all of the different practices that Denise shares inside the lounge, in case you're needing a little bit of help relaxing and getting yourself to that point where you can slip into confidence and practice those affirmations. And remember, you got into business to help someone solve a problem, and you cannot do that if you stay hidden. So show up for them, show up for your business, and show up for yourself. We'll see you next time.